Coach.
Well, Coach, finished off a good July after a tough June. Going through this month, and you got to take me through tonight and how you feel about the month in a whole.
I mean, it's, as you said, a big improvement on June, and you know, tonight was important again. It's a good result. Would have liked to have seen us better on the ball. I mean, I don't think we passed the ball particularly well all night. So, first half, really good start to the game. And then there was maybe 10 minutes in there where we were doing a lot of defending, and then we closed the half better, but we were chasing a lot of turnovers where we lost balls and then had to chase. And, you know, I think, look, the halftime we talked about, hey, clean it up a little. Let's have a little more quality in the final third. We created some good chances, some corners. We got the goal. I think we created some moments to get a second goal, didn't get it. Obviously, guys were tiring. We made changes and hung on. It wasn't the best finish to the game for us. I mean, the last 15 minutes or so, they had 3 or 4 dangerous moments, not just the last one where the guys didn't clean. There were also other balls that almost connected. So, you know, hopefully the next time we're in that position, we can close out the game better. But it was important to get the first goal, and it was important to get the 3 points. And tonight, fortunately, we got that first goal. And we talked briefly after the game that, hey, we got to close games out better, because that would have ended in a lot of heartbreak had we given up an equalizer at the back end. But hopefully we'll get better in that area. And to circle back to your question, I'm happy to get the results we needed in July, because it kind of puts us back in the mix. You know, we knew tonight would be tough because of Tulsa's position. You know, we've played a lot of games, Tulsa, Indy, Miami. We go to Indy next week against teams fighting for playoff lives, and these games are never easy. I know they were able to go into Birmingham and win 2-0, so we knew that they could play. We played them early in the year, and we were up 4-1, and it ended 4-3. So they have some late game firepower, and you know, fortunately, we were able to take both games against them this year. Needed it, especially at home. Great crowd. You know, maybe they willed it for the. You know, they willed the ball away from the goals. So, anything that helps.
With Robbie Mertz returning to the team, do you feel even more confident now in the depth that you have?
I think it helps with the quality of the overall roster for sure. He's a good player, and he had some very good moments tonight. I mean, I don't think we were great from a passing standpoint overall, and that includes Robbie, Kenny, Canardo, Forbes, and Danny Griffin. To me, we're better than we showed tonight, but for sure it's nice to have this type of quality. You know, they all were responsible for some of the good moments as well. So, you know, we just have to, we have to be a little more accountable for what we do on the ball. And generally, those guys are quite good. That's why they're here. That's why they're successful players in our league. For some reason tonight, we didn't pass the ball that well through the midfield, and a lot of turnovers, a lot of loose passes that prevented us from getting extra opportunities, and in some cases led to chances for them in the other direction.
Depot pushed another one across, and it looked like he was close on another chance, but just what you see from him tonight in terms of his playing time moving forward, like where do you just analyze where he's at?
I mean, listen, I thought he came out in the second half with more energy and was busier. He was holding more balls. He was pressing more. The first half, I think he was too static in the middle. They're playing three center backs, and we talked about getting him running out of the middle, running behind, running underneath, but move, don't stand there, don't be a standing target. I think Albert's always better when he's in motion. And even on that, on the goal, he's in one area and then the ball goes into the box and it's running off. He's in motion. Albert Deke was always going to be better in motion, so I'm happy for him. It was a good goal. It's been nice to get a second, as I said, but tonight we got it and we made it stand up.
Congratulations on this unbeaten streak that you're going through, Coach. I know in the NFL they always say it's hard to beat a team twice in a season, and you already beat Indy 11. What kind of challenges do they present the second time around? And just give me, if you could, please, a general scouting report on the next opponent.
I mean, a lot of people thought they'd be, fighting for a top 3 spot because, they have a really strong roster personnel-wise. Coach there, Mark Lowry, had a lot of success in El Paso, so they're in a bit of transition. Indy, and they had a good patch early in the season that put them in the playoff spots, and then have had a winless run similar like us where they hit a bad patch. But they had a good tie against Memphis last week, a very good Memphis team. And, Arteaga, Pino, Asante, these are top level players in our league. They're big, they're athletic. It's difficult on their field. It's an older turf, really bouncy. I mean, it's a tough game every time we go there because of the surface. But similar to Tulsa, they're trying to catch Miami, and they play Miami, and they know a couple of big wins. There's enough time for anyone to go on a 4 or 5 game run like we have and improve their situation. And Indy has enough quality to do that. They have to start it at some point. Sometimes, the draw against Memphis will give them some confidence. Did try to get a win against us. We'd like to go in there. We're chasing Memphis, so for us, Memphis drew there. Can we get 3 there? And then we play Memphis the following week. So there's a lot of meaningful games week in and week out now. It's important you come out on top of those, and the more times you can get the full 3, you're not only improving your position, but you're tightening the window for others. You're making it harder for others. So Indy will be. Listen, if we aren't better on the ball next week in Indy, that's a game that we played tonight. That's going to be difficult to win anywhere on the road. And I think, if we're that uneven in our performance, it's a tough game to win even at home. So I mean, I think that's what we're going to be looking at this week is, can we get back our rhythm on the ball? Can we string passes together? Because, we did a lot of chasing tonight. I'm guessing we were okay in the possession and the shots stats. I haven't seen any of them. Have you guys seen those stats?
It was pretty about 50-50 for possession.
I think at home we probably should have had more of the ball, and I think we had enough good spells in the first half that we could have gotten a goal, could have gotten a couple of goals, and then played the game on our terms. And the fact that it ended pretty even, I think was due more to our inconsistency in the game in terms of taking care of the ball. So I'm hoping we can do better, or we could be doing a lot of chasing next week in Indy.
Can you kind of like with the substitutes, is that something that you have planned beforehand? when guys are going to come in, or is it a feel thing or a flow of the game type of thing?
Much more what's going on in the game. I mean, I don't, obviously if someone's injured a long time, you may say, okay, we're going to try to get him 30 minutes, but generally it's all dictated on the game. We were good enough in the first half. We weren't great, but we were good enough where I felt like, hey, if we can raise our quality a little bit, we'll get our goals. We got one. We almost got two, but we didn't want to rush the subs because I felt like that group that started had goals in them. They didn't have a lot, but they had the one that counted. Having said that, once we scored, we've been able to keep Dequa healthy, not overplaying him. He's, and maybe could have gone to the bench a little bit early on Dix, Russ, a couple of those other guys. Even Kenny and Robbie were tiring at the end, in transition. Those guys were slow to get back. And I mean, the game's 1-0, and you can see that. Sometimes those guys are capable. Kenny, Robbie playing the full 90, but we had to be more stout defensively at the back end of the game. We were in it the whole way, and you wanna see your group achieve. You don't want to leave them on a bad patch. So that's some of it. Sometimes as a coach, you want them to play through it rather than have a quick hook.
Yeah.
If I was hooking a few of them based on their performance today, I may have made some subs in the first half, and I didn't necessarily think that's not always the right thing to go forward with them in their heads. Why did I get yanked? I work hard, this, that. Sometimes you have to kind of let them play through it. I think they responded early in the second half and got the goal. But we can play a lot better than that.
Yeah, I was just curious, if there was analytics behind it or anything like that.
Well, we're aware of that stuff. We're tracking a lot of that stuff as well, but it's over the course of games or the season as opposed to in the middle of the game. Danny Griffin's still gonna make a play at the end of the year. Tonight was a struggle for him. His passing percentages are generally really high, and he lost some balls that he typically doesn't lose. But his intangibles, they don't go away. He still is working. He's still covering the ground. But believe me, we looked at one point of maybe pulling him because it just wasn't his night. So a lot we're watching, but he still has more gas in the tank than Kenny, let's say. So sometimes it's happening live. I'm getting feedback from Dan Visser, Bahanic, those guys on the bench as well, and we're trying to measure that as we go through the game. You good?
Thanks, bud.
All right.
Thank you.
Felicitaciones.
Turn it over to Mr. Dequa. It was Albert's 7th goal of the year, which was a career best for a single season. So go ahead with questions for him.
Going off that, your career best year in goals, what do you think has been working so well for you, able to produce so well this year?
I think it's one of the things process. You have to try the process, just keep working. And there's one thing that I believe is hard work always pay off. And I got lucky this year. I'm healthy, and that's something that I'm very grateful because those last 2 seasons I've been struggling with injury, and this year one of the person who helped me a lot is Coach Bob, always open to help me after training. Even we can stay for 2 hours doing extra work, and it's paying off. Yeah, I'm thankful for that.
What did you see on the goal tonight?
So, to be honest, in that goal line, just put me the bodies. Because in training, it's always you go hit it hard, you know. I was just trying to hit the target, and luckily it's got in, so yeah.
So you mentioned health. It's been good this year. Have you had to change anything, whether it be training-wise or anything, to maybe get to this point this year where you're able to go out there for 70 and feel good and not have any issues?
I think one thing is like about my nutrition. I think I switched my nutrition a little bit. I was like vegan stuff, and right now I'm not a vegan anymore. But after my surgery, I was a vegan like for almost 8 or 9 months, and it's something that helped me a lot too. And one thing that helped me a lot is Coach Bob too, because he always tell me like listen to your body, because obviously I was doing some extra work and I was just going out there walking, and something that I'm doing work this season is like listen to my body, get some rest, and I'm lucky to have the trainers that keep me healthy. Kyle is like, it's my savior right now. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, he's my savior, because maybe after training I can say, Kyle, do you have something for me? It's always have something for me, like to keep me healthy, and I'm grateful to have him around me, and he's my best friend, so yeah, very good, guys.
Albert, 6 games without a loss, mostly wins, just 1 draw.
Yeah.
What's working for the team right now? What do you think is powering your success right now?
I think it's like Pittsburgh identity is like always energy. It's energy. At the beginning until the end, it's like energy. Never switch on. Is that something that we have? We're doing better right now. If you score 1 goal, you have to keep the clean sheet and just keep pushing. Yeah.
Albert, you wear number 9, Lewandowski, Batistuta, and Suarez. The list goes on.
Yeah.
How did you pick the number, and are there some number 9 influences that you look to for play as striker?
I think the guy who influenced me is Suarez. I watch Suarez a lot because of his movement off the ball, inside the box, his mentality always to get to the defenders. I think that's
He scored a lot.
He scored a lot.
For the Celeste.
Yeah,
you're
he
right,
scored a
you're
lot,
right.
yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying me? Oh, you're right. Another number 9? Wait, you're saying me? Me, number 9? And you forgot about the kid. Not Suarez. He's on Suarez as well?
Anything else for Albert, guys?
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Picture real quick?
Yeah.
These guys want to get a quick picture with you.
Let's go, guys.
There you go.
Just 1 year? Yeah.
I can verify this guy was number 2.
Let's go.
She's front and center for that.
10 or 6 as he got older, probably.
A rose between two thorns, isn't it? Say what? You all right?
Yeah, but he's funny though.
Good nature.
Yeah, that's Justin Evans. You know him. He was the coach when they started playing in Highmark.
All right, guys, I'm going to make a quick rundown because, believe it or not, they're still getting autographs and stuff.
Oh, wow.
I think Robbie is still in the middle of it. Good.
I was
Tico's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I interviewed him for the last week.
Oh yeah.
He was very brief.
Yeah, he's quicker.
But that just meant that you didn't really sift through his stuff. You just threw out what you had.
he
Yeah.
said something about
What's
Like
up?
usually it's always hit it hard. And
Yeah.
then he said, I was just trying to put it on target.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Tell my.
Did you say it was Dixon? Was it Dixon?
Dixon
Tells
assisted
him
him.
there. Somebody It was somebody. I don't know if it
I
was
think
Dixon
it's
or
just they
Griffin.
always tell me in clinics.
Yeah, in practice, yeah. Yeah, and he said Bob like will stay after with him to work on stuff with him or something. Yeah. Yeah, he has a tougher accent too.
He's quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet. Yeah. So is Kenny. Kenny and Dane Kelly are pretty quiet. Yeah.
The last time I was here, we talked to Alex, and he was like, he's not horribly quiet, but he was like facing away from my phone. And it was after they lost, so it was extra quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, they got that. You were from Tampa.
Yeah.
I missed that.
That was a bad one.
That was probably the worst game. They haven't lost.
No, I know. That's crazy. Maybe I'm just a good luck charm.
Yeah.
9:40.
We're in good shape.
I really just have like one question to ask for Robbie.
I think we all have the same.
Yeah. How does it feel to be back?
I'll let you do it.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't matter.
Since you're putting it on the Twitter.
I mean, you can ask whatever you need to. I was sort of gonna ask a twist on it. I was gonna ask like if he had how are things since returning? Like, does he think the personnel on this team is better than like 2 years ago? We'll see.
Well, it was also to a fireworks night.
Player yet. Haven't even worked.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I asked.
You haven't ever experienced interviewing players in a losing season.
Yeah, not here.
Not really, no. Well, not for this team, but I have.
I can promise you that because Bob's never had a losing season in his entire goddamn career.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Most players are really good, but the team in my history, when I covered the Rapids in Colorado, they won't give you the players who are pissed off and disgruntled. Like, they'll shield them. You have to interview them after they've left the team.
Good PR. Yeah.
Just basic comms,
Yeah.
like 101.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what a comms team in a bigger club does: shield, protect the reputation. But like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing because when you get players who've been losing game after game after game, you have to find a new way to ask them the same question. Coaches are actually more prickly. That's where because coaches usually have to go to the post-game scrum.
Right.
And the team knows better than to send out the most pissed off player. Although when I was in Colorado, they drew that game 2-2. And literally the first player who came in afterwards, like, he slammed the door when he walked in and should have had him. He was like pissed off. He like hadn't cooled off.
But that's still.
That was great.
Yeah, that's good because he shows he cares,
Right.
Could be the opposite, where it's like, yeah, whatever. We played a soccer game and we're going home.
My guy Matt was at training one game when. A player, I don't know if he got called out or if he was. I think he started bitching out. I think the coach was giving him instruction, and the player started yelling right back at the coach, and then he stormed off mid-training, and my guy was there. And so we never really got a whole lot of comments about that until afterwards, and then the comments kind of came out very sideways. It's like, and eventually, like a year or two later, they were basically all like, yeah, he had a bad attitude, he didn't want to be there, and stuff like that.
Yeah, everything comes out later. Yeah.
Or off the record.
Yeah, off the record, yeah.
I asked him about substitutes because I was hoping that he would just go into like why he's not starting to take.
Yeah, you probably have to ask that.
I mean, the nice thing is
straight up.
Bob's a little more honest than your average coach. I mean,
Yeah, usually
but
is.
he's
More than James Franklin.
Yeah.
The Rapids head
I know
coach.
you go there. I have no ill will for
Who's James Franklin?
but I think that guy just really good.
Tulsa guy?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But I think the same thing about
Not the actor.
he's they're kind of like the same.
Who's James Franklin?
Penn State football's head coach.
Is it? Do you cover
the
them?
bald guy.
Yeah, I go to school there, and I'm on our papers beat.
I was also curious too if there's like any analytics to
Yeah, a lot of coaches just are great at cliches.
because like baseball's so
Yep,
analytical.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
just wondering if it's trickled into this.
Soccer, they might probably look at like
Probably
expected
finally here.
goals for like forwards and that kind of thing, and
But like
how many headers are they winning? And,
same with like midfielders, like what's their passing percentage after? a
yeah,
certain point?
I looked at that the other day. Robbie's is better than Kenny and Griffin's. He's like a little over 80%, and Griffin and
I don't think Robbie knows who I interview.
Yeah. He's probably signing 5 million autographs.
He's right there. But Grubby's not here, so.
No, that's his, right there, you're saying? With the merch shirt on?
That's his brother.
That's his brother.
No way.
Yeah. Looks a lot like him. Yeah.
How did you tell the difference from the back?
I played with him when I was younger at Century United.
Oh shit.
Well, I practiced against him a lot of
So wait,
times. Yeah.
what's his name?
What is it?
Dan? He plays for Delaware, right?
Yeah, Delaware. It's been so long.
Fighting Blue Hens.
Yeah.
Fighting Blue Hens. Yep.
He's the captain, too.
I once got that right as an extra credit in Kurt
Yeah,
Schneer's
you're right. Now I
sign
see
checks.
Yeah.
Fighting Blue Hens.
They were really different.
Because he went to Delaware. So he asked that to the class, like as a bonus question. I was the only one that got it right.
That's funny.
It's like, yep, Schwartz nerd. He's like, how the hell did you know? But, I also didn't expect him to come on.
Yeah, that probably wasn't his greatest game, but
But I think
yeah, they like never sub him out, so
they also know like he's the best.
yeah. If you take him out, a defensive mistake would happen very quickly.
Yeah, because he was like the one. He made a poor pass tonight. He recovered.
Yeah, his recovery very good.
What do they call it? Time later.
Yeah, he's certainly that.
I really got like I feel like he's the only guy
Yeah.
who's on this job.
Mm, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Was that?
It's taking forever.
I'm sure he's a popular guy out there. You know?
Yeah, especially tonight.
You know your stuff, girl. They upset Argentina in 1990 in the World Cup. As far as the fuck yeah.
Yeah, still.
Is anybody watching?
2. Maybe. We're not saying anything bad. We're saying it brings character to the whole thing. I've been thinking about him on the basis. This is taking.